Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I stumbled upon this glorious post. It's called Rant, the problem with BG brain rot and how it has distorted champion evaluation in MCOC. And this is not actually about me. I think the post's author is taking up issue with Legacy there and his evaluation of Blue Marvel, but in general I do think this is a very relevant subject and I do want to address it because I myself in past have been accused of having BG brain rot. And in this video, primarily, I do want to talk about incentives and reasoning, because what many people like to call BG brain rot, to me, is just basic logic. And with that, we're going to start, again, not dissecting the post, but I'm going to go over incentives in MCOC. As in, like, Kabam giving you reasons to do specific things. As it stands right now, in the game of Marvel Concept Champions, there are exactly 4 game modes, 4 pieces of content, where you can have varied level of rewards. And that is going to be kind of like a big focus here, whether you do want to focus on the rewards or not. And hey, this is a game, you can play however you want to. You're meant to have fun. I also occasionally rank up champions for just the hell of it. And what I'm saying right now isn't some sort of a rule or law. It's more of an explanation of the way I view things and why I do what I do and why I value some champions more than others. And again, let's get to the incentives. We have 4 game modes, 4, that offer varied levels of rewards. What are they? Come on, class. What are they? Realistically, the first one's quite obvious. It's battle guns. If you have ranked up more champions that are good for a specific meta, on equal skill level as an opponent who hasn't done that, you're going to get better rewards for it, because you're going to, do better in the BG meta with the better champions for that specific meta. You're going to be able to place higher than somebody on equal skill level who hasn't done those rank ups. That concept should be very similar, right? Assuming you're playing against a mirror version of yourself. One of you has done the rank ups for this specific meta, other one hasn't. The one who has is going to win more often than not, and he's going to be able to rank higher in the season, and he's going to get better rewards for it, more radiance. So that's one game mode where you do get better rewards if you do better and you do focus your rank ups on. The other game mode is Alliance War. Again, 2 equally skilled alliances. One has ranked up specific tactic defenders and attackers, other one hasn't. They're equally skilled. The alliance who has done those rank ups will generally win the war, skill levels being equal, because they're going to get the better matchups, they're going to finish the fights faster, they're going to die less, they're going to end up getting better season rewards. So that is game mode number 2. Game mode number 3, a lot of people will hate this, but game mode number 3 is very easy. Alliance Quest. Equally skilled alliances. One alliance has ranked up for prestige, other one hasn't ranked up for prestige. The alliance that has will get better rewards, because prestige is effectively alliance tiebreaker. Higher prestige, higher placement, better rewards. There you go. Place number 3 recently is the monthly one quest. It's also prestige. So from that, that's it. Anything else in this game, let's say 9.4 comes out today. You finish 9.4 with perfectly ranked up champions and using 0 revive, 0 health potions. And I haven't ranked up champions for 9.4. I'm going to finish it. Maybe I'll use a revive or 2, but I really couldn't care less, because personally I have tons of them expiring anyways. And I'll get exactly the same rewards. Same thing goes for the side quest, the same thing goes for any objectives, the same thing goes for Wheel of Fate, the same thing goes for just about anything else in the game. So, there are only 4 game modes that get you more and better rewards if you quote-unquote rank for them. So those are the game modes that ultimately for the higher end players also matter, and where we base our rank ups on. Because we want those extra rewards, we want to do better in every single one of those game modes. If you don't care about any of them, rank up whoever you want. Which here doesn't really matter. But at the same time, there will be plenty of people who do care about those game modes, and therefore, if a champion is good for any one of those, that adds value to those champions. Champion has high prestige. Any alliance that focuses on prestige will want to rank up that champion, obviously, right? Champion is very good for battlegrounds. They will want to rank up that champion. Champion is very good for alliance wars. They will want to rank up that champion, and that is what gives value. If a champion is very good for incursions, nobody's going to want to rank up that champion because nobody cares. Because there are like 20 champions that are equally good or almost as good for incursions, and we're going to get the same rewards anyways. If a champion is good for a story content or quote-unquote questing, that a lot of people like to say, nobody's really going to care about it because chances are, whatever rank ups you have are going to be good enough to get through all of that anyways. And we're going to get the same rewards. The rewards will not differ. So that is the first and big reason why I view the champions the way I do, and why many other people who do play Battlegrounds and who do play War view the champions the way we do. It's quite simple. You get more rewards for using your resources, and therefore you get more resources in the future, and you can do more rank ups, and you can grow your account more, and so on and so forth. And you can be quote unquote competitive to a better degree. And that's why a lot of people play this game. Not to have maximum amount of fun, but to kind of like compete the best that they can. Which I think is a very solid reason. But it's not the only reason. Because so what I have explained so far, again, to me would fall within a basic logic range. If I can rank up a champion that's going to get me more rewards, or if I can rank up a champion that's not going to change the amount of rewards that I can earn, I'm going to rank up the one that gets me more rewards. The other reason is also kind of a basic math thing, which would be if I can rank up a champion that's good for like every game mode, or I can rank up a champion that's good for like 3 game modes that I barely care about. Which one will I rank up? You know what I mean? So I can rank up a champion that's good for battlegrounds and incursions and Everest content and so on and so forth. Or I can rank up a champion that's going to be good for incursions and story content. To me, the logical choice generally will be the one that's good for everything. Because why would you choose less if you can pick more the same rank up materials? As in, you can pick Onslaught, and Onslaught's good in every single game mode. Alliance for attack, Alliance for defense, incursions. Onslaught's good for story content. Onslaught's good for a ton of challenge content. Onslaught's good for, again, battleground, stack defense, all of that. Or you can pick up somebody like Sentry. Sentry can be good for Necropolis or incursions and like, but I really don't care. Because number one, Everest content gets created like once in 3 years. All the standard content outside of that, all the standard challenge content is hyper specialized, and ranking for that specifically is pointless. And to break this point down, we're going to take a look at the special quests, right? So in the special quest, we have something like Crucible, where you can use champion for 1 fight. And that's it. You can use champion for 1 fight. And then you're going to have to pick another champion. So ranking up for something like Crucible is pointless. Then we have something like the Epoch of Pain. If you take a look at the Epoch of Pain, you end up using 1 champion for maximum like 2 fights. Because every lane is class gated and yada yada yada. The fights are hyper specialized. You end up using 1 champion again for like maximum 3 fights. Ranking up specifically for that, maybe. If that champion is good elsewhere, sure. But only for this. Like, for instance, Sentry is very, very good for some of this stuff. Would I rank 3 or rank 4 Sentry to kind of save a revive here? Or would I just pick up a champion that's equally good or almost as good and maybe use a revive or 2 instead? I'll use a revive or 2 because I have a bunch of those things expiring, and I really do value catalysts more than revives currently in the game. Because again, all of this challenge content is hyper specialized. So we had the Crucible, we had the Epoch, which is some of the latest one. And then besides that, we can take a look at Wheel of Fate. Every fight we need to swap in and out. So ranking up for Wheel of Fate. Again, I don't think it's particularly worth it at all. Like, I could have ranked up something for that Bullseye 1 fight, or I used Havoc in like 3 revives. I was cool with Havoc in 3 revives because I have a bunch of them expiring. So again, ranking up for some sort of challenge content these days is borderline pointless because you can only use 1 specific champion for like a handful of fights max. So that kind of goes out of the window. So Kabam makes big Everest content for like the ramp-up champions to shine once in 3 years, and hey, guess what? We already have a ton of champions ranked up that are kind of good for it anyways, right? And Kabam makes some sort of challenge content another couple of times a year, but they make it hyper specialized that, you know, you can't rank up a champion for Act 9.4 and clear Act 9.4. You're going to use that champion for 1 or 2 lanes. Or you can use a champion that you already have ranked up and, you know, maybe use revive and you'll be fine. So again, I don't find much reason to rank up champion for these things, specifically speaking. And then there are like champions like Blue Marvel now, like Heimdall that just got buffed, or any other quote unquote like ramp up, multi-fight, long form content champions that I have long had an issue with, for the simple reason that we do get Everest content once in 3 years or something like that, on average, once in 2 to 3 years. And I'm not gonna start ranking up champions for a content that might come out 2 years later, and this champion might be good for it. You know, if there is an Acropolis 2.0, and if, I don't know, Heimdall or somebody else turns out to be very good for it, I might rank him up for it. Or I might use some other champion that's also good for it. But I'm not going to worry about it 2 years down the line. So if Kabam creates an Acropolis 2.0, yeah, sure, we can take a look at which champions will be good for it and maybe do a rank up if I feel like I have to. None of my other champions can do the job. But chances are, I'll have somebody that works equally fine or almost as well there. Or if I will feel like it's worth the saving and, you know, resources, I might. But as it stands right now, I'm not gonna chase or rank up or put some sort of imaginary amount of value to the champions that might maybe become useful or valuable 2 years down the line. I'm gonna focus on what's helping me right now, which is, again, one of the reasons why and how I do my rank ups, generally speaking, is I ask myself a question: do I have a purpose use for that champion right now? Will it improve my situation currently today in the game? Like, you know, it can be as simple as, would this champion help my prestige? But it's not the only question that I ask. I generally ask, is this champion good for something else in the game? For example, you know, that champion good for this BG meta? Is that champion good for this war meta? It's like, is there something that this champion does for me right now to help me earn more rewards or save a bunch of resources? And if the answer is no, even if I kind of like that champion, I'm probably not going to take him over like rank 2 or 3. I'm going to take him a little bit up so I can mess with him like in casual questing, but I'm not going to like take him to the max rank available if I don't have a purpose or a use for that champion. I'll also probably not going to chase that champion, because again, if it doesn't help me much, then, you know, eventually I'll get him anyways. And champions like that, in my eyes, do have less value. Like, because I'm in not rush to get them, and I'm not in a rush to rank them. If later down the line it turns out those champions are useful, sure, I'll rank them. Like, why not? But immediately, it's like, why, if it doesn't help me right now? And that's kind of the last thing. We currently don't have a single piece of content in the game that you need the champion to be ranked for outside of the 4 game modes that I mentioned. Because in Battlegrounds, obviously a champion, whether a champion is rank 3 or rank 4, it matters, because, you know, the seconds and the chip damage and scoring, all that stuff matters. In Alliance War, the same thing. In Alliance Quest or the monthly event quest, your prestige matters, so it matters that the champion is max sig and as highly ranked as possible. Anywhere else, there isn't a single place where you can't comfortably take in rank 3 champions and do fine. Like, there's absolutely zero reason that you have to have rank 4 champion for like 9.4 or something. Again, at best, you're maybe gonna save a revive or a couple, but that's it. Same thing for all of these Wheel of Fate things and so on and so forth. You don't have to have champion at max rank to complete all that content and earn exactly the same amount of reward. Just because you have a higher rank champion, it's not gonna benefit you, for instance, when you finish, I don't know, Necropolis. Deathless run when we had to do, and my Deathless She-Hulk's rank 2, and she basically did all the solos anyways. Now, when you bring in a champion for, like, I know, the Crucible, most of the time it doesn't really matter whether it's a rank 3 or rank 4. Again, maybe the only difference there would be like 1 revive. But since Kabam has been quite lax with making challenging content or Everest content, I have revives and health potions personally expiring every day. I have had thousands expire, so I really do not value them. If there is going to be a big piece of content, like I'm at this point, I am personally quite confident that Kabam can release just about any piece of content, and I would be able to clear it with my stash. Like if Necropolis 2.0 came out, I'd be somewhat confident that I would get through it with whatever's in my stash within the green crystals and whatever's in my overflow. And if I don't, fair enough, couple of revives short or something like that. But again, first of all, who knows when that will be? But any other content outside of like a massive Everest content, I know for sure we're clearing with whatever we have in our decks, basically. Sorry, not decks, accounts and stashes. So, that again, using a revive or two, not that I do often, hence they're all expiring, but I really have no issue because they would expire otherwise anyways. So back to the original point, back to the original rant. I don't think it's PG brainrot. To me, it's kind of basic logic. You play the game the way you want to play, but again, there are certain things that do give champions value, and Kabam decides on those things. Kabam decides on what incentives we have. For instance, a great example here would be Coliseum and all this talk about Coliseum. To me, there is zero incentive to rank up for Coliseum, because let's take a look here. Void Fight. I have a Koya that did 17 bars, for instance, and let's assume for a second that Mr. Knight would do 20 bars easy. Sure, okay, fine. I need to get 80 bars down, so Mr. Knight could theoretically do it in, let's say, 4 goes. And Okoye, 17 bars, let's say 5. Okoye would do it in 5 goes. So the difference would be 25 energy. And you and I would get the same rewards. So why would I rank up Mr. Knight, for instance, for Coliseum, if only difference would be me spending 25 energy more using a champion that I already have ranked up and getting the same rewards? Because you do not get an extra cookie for doing more health bars. There are no ranked rewards. You do not get a special reward for doing 20 plus bars or something like that. So I'd rather spend 25 energy more, get the same rewards, and chill. Similar with Alliance Coliseum. Alliance Coliseum, it doesn't really matter all that much how many bars you get, and as long as you get a reasonable amount. Because the main thing that decides the points there is what podium level you're at. So you can get, I don't know, 30 bars, and I'm gonna get 20, but if you grind out one podium more, you're gonna have the highest score. Sorry, I'm gonna have the highest score. So even in Alliance Coliseum, where it technically should matter, it barely does. Because Kabam wanted to monetize that game mode and they made it grindy. So whether you do 20 or 17 bars in Alliance Coliseum barely makes a difference. What makes the biggest difference is which podium level you buy or grind to. And that is before I even mentioned that there are barely any meaningful rank rewards in Alliance Coliseum as well, because it's only the regular AQ Radiance. It's not like it's like a massive amount of difference. Majority of the rewards that still come from solo and Alliance milestones. The Alliance rank rewards in Solo Coliseum are very pitiful there. They're very, very basic Alliance Radiance. That's like, at max 60k, I believe, which is, half the Radiance you get from raids. So it's barely an incentive. And even there, grinding matters more than putting up the highest amount of bars. So the way we stand, again, you can make any arguments how beautiful champions are, and I agree there are tons of very, very cool champions. Just that I don't think I need to chase them for anything, because they will not add any extra value to me or my ability to play the game or my ability to earn the rewards. And yeah, a champion can be, amazing amount of utility and all that stuff, but it only matters when Kabam creates a content that rewards you for having those answers. And Kabam doesn't. Kabam gives you zero incentive to rank up champions like Blue Marl now, for instance, or like Heimdall, or like whatever else is ramp up. So whoever likes to complain about it, you know, be that DLL designing champions, not every champion has to be a BG nuke, or be that somebody ranting on the forums like, oh, you have a BG brain rot, stuff like that. And my answer to that is very simple. It's like, I don't think it's a BG brain rot, and obviously not every champion has to be great for BGs, but if it isn't, if that champion isn't great for those 4 things that I mentioned, the champion immediately has a lot less value. And it is not because I think so, it's because Kabam made the game that way. If a champion doesn't earn you more rewards or enable you to do content that you otherwise couldn't, that champion has very little value for many players, such as myself, for instance. And that's, you know, where the difference will be. If you're a brand new player, any new champion could have a ton of value for you. But if you have access to most of the champions in the game, primarily every champion exists in a competition with each other. And it's not a question of whether this champion, you know, can do something or whether this champion is capable of defeating this opponent. The real question is like, why would I rank up this champion over another one? Why would I chase that champion? Kind of like when a new Mystic champion is getting released, and the immediate question, for instance, would be, why would I chase and rank up, like Dracula's situation, for instance? Dracula is a very recent Mystic champion. An immediate question is, does he do anything amazing that I need him to do? Is he better at X, Y, and Z than, you know, Shatra, than, I don't know, Spiral, than Kushala, than Nico? If the answer is no to that, then I have basically no reason to chase that champion and rank him up. I mean, sure, I'd like to get him. I kind of like to play him. If I would get him, I'd probably rank him up to rank 2 or 3 and like use him for fun. But I have virtually no incentive to chase him and rank him up highly. And the same goes for any other champion released. When a champion gets released, like, what do I gain from if I do rank up this champion? And if the answer is nothing or just fun, then sure, you know, it's going to be nice to have that champion eventually and take him to rank 2 or 3 and have a bit of fun with him. But here we are. And again, but this mindset just promotes inaccurate takes. Again, like, you say it's inaccurate, I say it's very basic and logical. I still say rank up whoever you want, but I'm gonna assign more value to the champions that help me do something more in the game. Moreover, the idea that only my champions working up is simply unsustainable, leads to rosters bloated with glass cannons. Again, why is it unsustainable? Obviously, you're gonna end up ranking up champions for specific reasons and targets and tasks, but it doesn't mean that you immediately assign a ton of value for like a very specialized tool. Champion isn't bad because they're not top tier list. Obviously, like, these are like very basic things that I think the dude is ranting, but he's completely missing the point. What's giving champions extra value? Anyways, let me know what you guys think, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. Bye bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information